Chibi had posted, apparently the infamous localizer that takes pride in butchering translations and recently told people to bully Japanese companies to force in politics, got suspended on Blue Sky. And I read this tweet, and this is someone named Katrina Leonnaudakis. Some fucking, that doesn't look like a woman. If you're a fan and want to do something to pressure companies into paying for union actors in good translation, bully them. Send emails shaming them. Comment how you will never buy their game again. Call their customer support line. The louder you are, the faster companies will change. And this, once again, is not only just the typical playbook that these people have been running off of for 15 years now, but this is also what Kim Belair of Sweet Baby Inc. told people to do.
Put this stuff up to your higher-ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Said to go to companies' HR and just put fear in them that if they don't do what you want them to, then a lot of people are going to get mad. And this works. This works because companies get to go, well, our support is getting slammed and we have so many people working here and we need to think about, you know, their families and the money that they're making and taking home. And if we're getting this kind of backlash, then we have to do this, you know? We have to give in to these people. And every time you give in, it's just going to get worse later on. Like, sure, you might have a minimal reprieve, but as soon as these people want something more from you, you will have to do it. And it's obnoxious that anyone has to deal with any of these freaks. It's annoying and it shouldn't have to happen, but we don't live in the ideal that shouldn't happen world. Nobody is going to just. So you have to kind of make a stand and put your foot down and stop listening to these unironic, like, just freaks using terrorist tactics. And then Zenko here, Japanese man fighting against censorship, says, the recent post crossed a line and could have caused actual harm. It was fortunate that people overseas brought this to light as it helped Japanese content companies understand the reality of the situation. And this is why people celebrate AI taking localizers' jobs. Nobody actually wants AI subtitles or AI translations, but if AI is going to do a better job and not be a psychopathic ideological piece of shit, yes, people will take AI over something like Katrina. You're so glad we have Twitter translation now? It makes talking about this stuff so much easier. Yes. I was thinking Karina Botcher, the English VA for Paimon. Yes, that's who I was thinking of. Thank you. Katrina's a whole other beast, a Jabba that lives in a hut. No less. Oh, no. Oh no. It's easy to get these people mixed up because they all say the same things and they all do the same things and they are all equally fucking awful and no one likes them. Captain of Iranian women's soccer team is latest to withdraw asylum bid. Family members are missing. The captain of Iran's women's soccer team has withdrawn her bid for asylum in Australia, making her the latest member to do so as fears grow that the players' families are in danger if they don't return home. Zara Ganbari, 34, is returning to the embrace of the homeland after withdrawing her asylum bid Sunday, Iran's IRNA news agency reported. Shiva Amini, an exiled Iranian former soccer player, claimed the players chose to go home following intense and systemic pressure on the players' families from Iran's Football Federation. Several of the players decided to go back because the threats against their families became unbearable and the intimidation was relentless, she wrote on X on Sunday. I have some questions. I know that you can do multiple things at once, but I feel like if we're in the middle of bombing the ever-living fuck out of Iran for the past several weeks, and every time they name a new Ayatollah, he just gets killed. Who in the government has time to go around threatening soccer players' families while everyone in the ruling party is being blown up? Like, they're very decentralized. Like, I'm not saying there's, like, people lying. It's just, like, that's very strange that while everyone's getting blown up, these people are prioritizing, all right, we need to harass these soccer players' families. Middle management. It's so fucking weird. It's so weird. Like, they just need to be, like, all-encompassing controlling of your life regardless of what's going on. Flexing their power while they still have it. It's so fucking dumb. And nobody ever accused the regime of being reasonable. Damn, he's tall as fuck. 7 members of the national Iranian team who took part in the Women's Asian Cup made headlines last week when they sought sanctuary in Australia amid backlash over their refusal to sing their national anthem at the tournament. The women's display of defiance occurred just as the US and Israel launched airstrikes on Iran, killing the Islamic Republic's longtime supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The women were branded traitors in Iran, with their safety put into question should they return home in the wake of Tehran's brutal crackdown on dissent that killed thousands in January. Their families are also feared to be in the crosshairs of Iran's brutal leaders over their stand. I mean, if the US bombs all of the leaders, then there is no threat, right? And then everyone just happy, question mark? That's how totalitarian regimes work. They involve themselves in even the pettiest of problems. I'm like, if I was in the perspective, and this is maybe why the moral busybodies end up like gaining so much power, because they do shit like this. But it's like, if I was a ruling party and everyone around me was getting bombed to death, I'd be like, maybe we don't pay attention to the soccer families. Maybe we figure out how the rest of us don't get bombed to death. Maybe. After the defecting players caused an international uproar over the situation, President Trump even offering to have the US take in the women if Australia didn't grant them asylum. 5 of the 7 women now have opted to return home to the Islamic Republic. The players were given repeated chances to talk about their options, but ultimately faced incredibly difficult decisions, Australia Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke said in a statement Saturday. Tina Kordrostami, a councillor for the Australian city of Ryde, claimed the players were being heavily intimidated by Tehran, suggesting their families were being used as leverage to get them back home. I mean, that's kind of what authoritarian regimes always do, right? Like, it's happened in China, it happens in North Korea, like, that's just kind of par for the course. If you have something you care about, the authoritarians are going to use it in order to get you to submit. I know families have even been detained. I know family members are missing, Kordrostami told Fox News. One thing I would really like for people in the West to understand is that Iranians within the country have in many ways given up on the West. They're only relying on one another to survive this regime, she added. That seems like a really weird thing to say, considering the bombs currently being dropped. That's really weird. And that's like all the videos of like people celebrating, like the people who are like, this is a war of Israel. The only reason we're doing it is because Israel controls everything. The people in the videos aren't celebrating that their country is being bombed. They're celebrating that the bombs are targeting the oppressive regime. It feels like that's a crazy thing to have to explain. The situation harkens back to the 2020 execution of champion wrestler Naveed Afkari, who was convicted of killing an Iranian security guard during a 2018 protest. Afkari maintained that he had been tortured and forced to confess to the crime, with opposition groups pointing to his execution as a message being sent to Iranians at the time. The same year Afkari was executed, Iran sentenced boxing champ Mohammad Javad Vafei Sani, 30, to death for allegedly taking part in an anti-regime protest in 2019. Sani has been on death row since his sentencing, with Iran's Supreme Court upholding the conviction late last year. It remains unclear if Sani had been executed yet, as nationwide protests and internet blackouts engulfed Iran shortly after his family was granted, after what would have been their final visit December 15th. You know, I really, really hope that we never see this kind of execution stuff in the US. What happened with a lot of people from January 6th, I think is like the closest equivalency we have, where people were like thrown in solitary confinement for way too fucking long. They were jailed for years without any ability to have like their trial set up. And it just seems like a very easy slippery slope to go into, just executing people and spiriting them away after that. You say that, but country traitors should be treated the same. I mean, the penalty for being a traitor is the death penalty. The people at January 6th, I wouldn't exactly call traitors, except for maybe the glowies who were in the crowd. Hope you're wrong, but you fear that if the Dems get power again, they're gonna try and work their way towards doing that? Yeah, that's pretty much what I foresee as well. And that's what I would love people to remember as we get closer to midterms, and the rhetoric on Twitter ramps the fuck up with everyone saying the Republicans don't do anything for you, thus you should vote Democrat to teach them a lesson. It's not going to teach them a lesson because the Republicans that don't do anything are already on the side of the Democrats anyway. But having a Republican that at least needs to pretend to have optics is better than a Democrat that just wants to kill you. These are your choices. Elect somebody that you can primary as soon as you get an opportunity to, or elect somebody that wants to kill you. I feel like the choice is pretty fucking obvious at that point. Palestinian refugee melted down when asked why she despises the very people who welcomed her.
Harassing me.
Why did you hate the white people? Why did you met people?
Fuck you as well. I don't want
on
to talk to a
Halloween
piece of
decoration of
Mind your own business. That's your business. Piece of shit. Fuck off. You're not fucking indigenous. You're white as fuck. Where are you from? Because your fucking country is killing my people. Do you know that or not? You're fucking.
Then why are you in my country? Why, if you have that much hatred for my people, why are you in my country? Get the fuck out. What are we doing here?
Canada, the government is funding Israel.
Hamas attacked Israel.
Oh wait, she's in Canada? That's not my country. Why is she in Canada though? Why would she be in Canada if she hates the people of Canada? Get her out. Get her out of Canada.
October 7.
Fuck you, asshole. Fuck you, asshole. You just like this bullshit to go like have views, right? You're fucking ugly. You're fucking ugly.
Muslim country.
That's none of your fucking business. Fuck off. Piece of shit.
I mean, she can fix outwardly ugly. Can't fix whatever the fuck is wrong with your soul, lady.
White supremacist piece of shit. Shut the fuck up. Pieces of shit like you.
And you hate our culture.
Pieces of shit like you.
Do you want to say deportamas.com for
Fuck you, asshole.
She doesn't have a Canadian accent. Are there two foreigners arguing about Canada right now? What is fucking happening?
You asshole, white supremacist Zionist piece of shit. Fuck you. Yeah, fuck white supremacist people. Okay, I said fuck white supremacist people. Pieces of shit like you. Supremacist fucking bullshit.
See, I was like, most normal people could agree, like, yeah, fuck supremacists of any race, right? Those are shitty people. But then you go ahead and call this lady a white supremacist. Am I supposed to just believe you? How can we say fuck white supremacist if a white supremacist is just anyone you don't like that happens to be white? That's not what that means.
Jesus is Christian, motherfucker. Wow, what a fucking professional journalist you are. Piece of shit.
Standing with
Answer my
Iranian.
fucking question.
That been
You're
reported?
fucking ignorant and you like that shit.
Ignorant, by the way.
Fuck you,
It's me. I'm ignorant because I neglect to eat my egg sandwich.
asshole. You white supremacist asshole. Fuck you, white supremacist asshole.
Why is the lady's face blue? I can't tell if she had like tattoo removal on a face tattoo or if it's like a burn damage. The lady's French Canadian. Oh, okay. She did not sound French Canadian, but thank you. Thank you for the information. Usually they sound a bit more like French accented. So I was like, what the fuck is happening? What the fuck is that? That lady was just so angry. So angry. 200 years ago, we would just burn her for being an evil witch. Now, this might strike some people as harsh, but maybe the witch trials weren't as bad as we were taught they were. You're convinced they just called social manipulation witchcraft because it was too complex for average people to understand? That makes a lot of sense, right? Like maybe they weren't really sure if it was like Marxism or whatever. Maybe that wasn't really like a coined term at the time. I don't know. I can't keep timelines straight, right? They're just like, fuck, these people are manipulative assholes and we need to somehow stop them from spreading propaganda. Let's just call them a witch. Let's just say they do spell casting. And you know, it's really funny if things come full circle because we've been saying that people on the left don't have conversations. They just cast spells. You know, witch trials predate Marx. Thank you. Thank you for the timeline update. But he said, my overall thought on the Iran war is the goodwill spent on conducting this war is a greater cost than anyone blindly supporting it realizes. I'm not taking a shot at you. You could be right, and it could be great, but I suspect it's bad. It is better to be honest about how you feel than to lie to people because it's what they want to hear. That's going to create zero trust. We have a lot of important things on our plate, and I'll be listing a few big ones below. He has like American kids are falling behind educationally. There's 100 million illegals in the US. Average age of a first-time home buyer is 41. The economy for the bottom 70% of Americans is atrocious. Legal immigrants and immigrant CEOs are defrauding the visa system. Democrats want to genocide white Americans. There are a lot of Democrats that are literally just eschewing all kind of optics. They're just like, yeah, we just want to kill conservatives. Bribery of American politicians by foreign governments. $100 billion a year in immigrant fraud. All of the things listed above are higher priority than Iran. That's just fact. It means more to Americans than anything in Iran. I get the GOP Senate and federal judges are making it hard, but that doesn't mean go to war with Iran and burn all the political capital you have. And I kind of agree with like the majority of this. And I think it kind of expresses how I feel. Because like I've been very firmly on the I don't know whether this thing in Iran is going to be good or not. But the longer it goes on, the more I am upset that it's happening at all. And I know some people are like, well, you can focus on both domestic and foreign things at the same time. And it's like, well, that's cool that you think that, but we're very clearly not doing as much as we could be here and now. We only have a few more years left of a Trump presidency, and then who knows what's going to happen after that. Who knows what's going to happen in the midterms, what with all the propaganda convincing people, like, just don't vote, don't bother, just vote for a Democrat instead. It's all so tiresome, and it's like, I just want more done here in my country. Like, it's great that other countries are having their liberations, but, like, when can we be Nepal? Wouldn't be a big issue if the White House was not saying, hold your horses, stop talking about mass immigration at the same time. That too. That's really fucking awful to be hearing, yes. Jasmine Crockett confirms member of her security team killed by Dallas police. Crockett said the man, Diamond Robinson, had gone by a different name during his employment. Police said he had multiple felony warrants and a parole violation warrant. Rip. Jasmine Crockett, D. Texas, confirmed Monday that a man killed by Dallas police in a standoff last week had worked as security for her, calling it a tragic ending that we wish had been avoided for all. Crockett said in a statement that Dallas police confirmed the death of a member of our security team, adding that we are saddened and shocked by some of the concerning revelations. I feel like the concerning revelation is that she had a man that had multiple felony warrants and a parole violation warrant as a member of her security team? That man could have snapped at any point in time and just fucking killed her. What are we doing? Police said at a news conference after the shooting of Diamond Robinson, 39, that he had multiple felony warrants and a parole violation warrant. The warrants were for impersonating a police officer and for stolen license plates. I take it back. That sounds exactly like the kind of person a politician would want as a security guard. Police followed Robinson into a hospital parking lot Wednesday, NBC Dallas Fort Worth reported. He then barricaded himself in his car until police used tear gas to make him come out and then pulled a weapon, authorities said. Help. Officers shot and killed him. Crockett, who has been a member of Congress since 2023, how the fuck has she been there for so long? Oh my god. Said Robinson went by the name Mike King when he worked for her. She said her team followed all protocols outlined by the House to contract additional security, adding that it had been approved to hire the man it knew as Mike King. Isn't this just more proof that, like, our verification systems don't fucking work? We've had multiple illegal immigrants as police officers, and now we have this guy with multiple felony warrants who had been, like, okayed to be on part of a security detail? There ain't no way. The fact that an individual was able to somehow circumvent the vetting processes for something as sensitive as security for members of Congress highlights the loopholes and shortcomings in many of our systems, Crockett said. This is incredibly alarming, especially for those members who receive high volumes of credible and sophisticated death threats. Crockett added that Robinson's ability to circumvent the congressional system's security hiring loopholes was a reason for U.S. Capitol Police to provide security to Congress members. Capitol Police did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Crockett's statement or the man's death. Crockett said the description of Robinson's past doesn't fit with the person we came to know as Mike King. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I am so sick of this mentality being pushed onto, like, criminals, man. I am so tired of it, man. The man we knew showed up with respect, care, and commitment to protecting others, Crockett said in a post on X that included her statement. Yeah, I think the more sensible thing to do would be, like, blame the system for okaying him and be like, we never would have hired a felon if we had known. Like, what are we doing here? We're praying for the friends and family of the man that we knew as Mike King. Mike had been in and around our team for years. There was never any reason to suspect he wasn't who he held himself out to be. He never endangered our team. He worked diligently, coordinated with local law enforcement, and maintained positive relationships throughout the community, said Crockett, who recently lost the Democratic Senate nomination in Texas to State Rep James Tallarico. She added that as a public defender, she believed in redemption and second chances. Crockett said an initial review of Robinson's limited criminal history showed he had no violent offenses. Dallas police did not immediately respond to an inquiry about Robinson's criminal record. A woman who answered a call at an address listed for Robinson and who has the same last name declined to comment when she was reached by phone Monday night. Threats against Congress have increased for 3 consecutive years, and they spiked to their highest level in years last year, Capitol Police said in a January report. They investigated nearly 15,000 cases last year. Capitol Police primarily patrol Capitol grounds and investigate threats against lawmakers. Members of Congress usually coordinate with state and local police, as well as personal security when they're not in Washington. Only some members, usually those in leadership positions, receive full-time details from Capitol Police. Some rank-and-file members receive additional protection when they face specific threats. I that's a little crazy. I wonder like, do you just go about buying personal detail security if you become a representative? Is that just like your life now? What do threats against Congress have to do with Crockett hiring a felon? It feels like they attempted to pivot here. It definitely feels like they attempted to pivot away from the fact that she hired a felon, especially because her entire statement was just, well, he didn't act like a felon with us. He was a perfectly reasonable individual. Why do people act like not knowing everything about people means they're good? And most serial killers were the nicest, quiet guys in the community because evil doesn't always come with noise. Yep. Yeah, I don't really get it. I could understand her being like, well, we didn't know this about him. But then to go on and praise him is weird. It should be like, well, we didn't know this, and now that we do, that's fucked. We wouldn't have hired him if we knew. But here we go. In a rarity, Michelle Wu is to skip the annual St. Patrick's Day roast in South Boston. Well, Mayor Wu hates white people, so this doesn't surprise me. In a mayoral rarity, Michelle Wu is skipping the annual St. Patrick's Day breakfast on Sunday, forgoing one of the city's most hallowed, if sometimes awkward, political traditions. Wu's office cited a scheduling conflict. She'll be at church with her family, a spokesperson said. Decades-old tradition. Whoops! Scheduling conflict! The decades-old annual event held on Sunday, morning before St. Patrick's Day, typically draws an array of the state's top politicians for a morning of singing, jokes, and roasts that range from cringeworthy to uncomfortable. This year's breakfast will be held at the Iron Workers Local 7 Union Hall in South Boston at 9 a.m. Wu's decision to pass on the event comes amid a public skirmish with its host, State Senator Nick Collins. The two Democrats have repeatedly clashed over property tax legislation the mayor has tried, unsuccessfully, to push through Beacon Hill. There are people trying to say that New Hampshire needs higher property taxes. We need an income tax. And to those people, I say, move back to fucking Massachusetts. Why would you do that to New Hampshire? Why would you move to a place that specifically has no sales tax and then try to institute one? Just go back to Mass. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Collins was one of two Boston area state senators to publicly oppose a proposal that would allow Wu to temporarily shift more of the city's property tax burden onto commercial real estate, in an effort to mitigate what her office warned would be double-digit tax increases for residential property owners in the city. For roughly 2 years, Wu has been lobbying the legislature to approve versions of the legislation to no avail. Temporarily shift. So they're going to drive out businesses and then increase property taxes on residents anyway. Very, very interesting, commie. Wu ramped up pressure on state lawmakers to pass her legislation last year, blanketing social media and targeting some lawmakers, including Collins by name, and pinning the blame for residential property tax increases on the state Senate. Both Collins and State Senator William Brownsberger, the other member of the Senate's Boston delegation who opposed the property tax shift legislation, have since drawn challengers in this fall. In Brownberger's case, it's coming from inside the mayor's office. Daniel Lander, a senior aide to Wu, launched his campaign against the Belmont Democrat last year. Two candidates have filed paperwork with the same campaign finance regulators, signaling that they could run against Collins. This is what you need to do. Do you see this? Two state senators opposed something a communist wanted to do, and then suddenly some people popped up to challenge both his seat and the other senator's seat that opposed the communists. This is what needs to happen. If you live in an area and you have no representation, or your Republican representation might as well be a Democrat, you need to pop someone up and be like, we're gonna challenge this fucking seat. I know the communists are part of the institution, so they have far more resources to do it with, and it's gonna be a bit harder from our end, but it's still like, they're motivated to do it. They get it done. That is what we need to do as well. One of them, LaToya Gale, attended Wu's inauguration party in January. Gale's campaign manager, Macone Bonner, previously worked for Boston City Councilor Sharon Durkin, a close Wu ally. Wu has not missed the St. Patrick's Day breakfast since winning election in 2021. That year, she also participated in what was a virtual version of the event, prior to which Collins suggested in a social media post that Wu, then a mayoral candidate, wasn't from Boston. Well, she's not. She's not from Boston, and she's not for Boston. Wu alluded to her difficult first few months in office contending with inclement weather and labor disputes, laughing that she had endured trial by snow, trial by fire, and firefighters union. I'm getting used to dealing with problems that are expensive, disruptive, and white, she joked. I'm talking about snowflakes, snowstorms, and snowflakes. Her predecessor, Martin J. Walsh, also attended each breakfast during his tenure. The event was canceled in 2020 at the onset of COVID-19 pandemic. Mayor Wu hosted some kind of like luncheon or breakfast thing for politicians in the area and had like a no white people rule. She is very overtly anti-white, very obviously a communist, very obviously not for the people of Boston, regardless of their race. Just not a very good mayor in general. That's what we're trying to do in Colorado. It's between rhinos because the GOP promotes Dems who are socialist, but not for anything MAGA. It's gonna be hard and it's gonna be a fight, but seeing someone like Brendan Herrera win after only trying twice should really inspire everyone. Mayor Wu makes you want to go full on Andrew Jackson and bring back the Chinese Exclusionary Act. Imagine. Virginia Democrats are exempting themselves from a new gun control bill. The provisions of this section shall not apply to any member of the General Assembly. House Bill number 110, amendment in the nature of a substitute, proposed by the Joint Committee March 14th, 2026. A bill to amend and reenact 18.283.2 of the Code of Virginia to amend the Code of Virginia by adding a section numbered 18.2-308.7:1. Relating to handguns and unattended motor vehicles. Be it enacted by the General Assembly of Virginia that the Code of Virginia is amended and reenacted, and that the Code of Virginia is amended by adding a section numbered 18.2-308.7:1 as follows. Carrying a firearm or explosive material within Capitol Square and the surrounding area into a building owned or leased by the Commonwealth, etc., penalty. A, for the purposes of the section, Capitol Square and the surrounding area means the grounds, land, real property, and improvements in the city of Richmond, bound by Bank, Governor, Broad, and 9th Streets, and the sidewalks of Bank Street extending from 50 feet west of the Pocahontas building entrance to 50 feet east of the entrance of the capital of Virginia. B, except as provided in subsection G, it is unlawful for any person to carry any firearm as defined in 18.2-308.2:2, or explosive material as defined in more numbers within the capital of Virginia, Capitol Square and the surrounding area, any building owned and leased by the Commonwealth or any agency thereof, or any office where employees of the Commonwealth or any agency thereof are regularly present for the purpose of performing their official duties. C, a violation of this section is punishable as a Class 1 misdemeanor. Any firearm or explosive material carried in violation of the section shall be subject to seizure by a law enforcement officer and forfeited to the Commonwealth and disposed of as provided in section more numbers. D, the provisions of the section shall not apply to the following while acting in the conduct of such person's official duties. 1, any law enforcement officer as defined in numbers. 2, any authorized security personnel. 3, any active military personnel. 4, any fire marshal appointed pursuant to numbers, when such fire marshal has police powers provided by more numbers. Or 5, any member of a cadet corps who is recognized by a public institution of higher education, while such member is participating in an official ceremonial event for the Commonwealth. E, the provisions of Clause 2 of subsection B shall not apply to 1, any state police officer who's off duty, or 2, any retired state police officer who has participated in annual firearms training and has qualified to the standards required of active law enforcement officers in the Commonwealth in accordance with subsection C of numbers. The provision of clauses 3 and 4 of subsection B shall not apply to any state police officer who's off duty. B, any retired state police officer who's participated in annual firearms training and qualified to the standards required of active law enforcement officers in the Commonwealth in accordance with subsection C of numbers. C, any retired law enforcement officer who's participated in annual firearms training and is qualified pursuant to subsection C of numbers and is visiting a gun range owned or leased by the Commonwealth. D, any of the following employees authorized to carry a firearm while acting in the conduct of such employee's official duty. 1, a bail bondsman as defined in numbers. 2, an employee of the Department of Corrections or a state juvenile correction facility. 3, an employee of the Department of Conservation and Recreation. Or 4, an employee of the Department of Wildlife Resources. E, any individual carrying a weapon into a courthouse who is exempt under numbers. F, any property owned or operated by a public institution of higher education. G, any state park. Or H, any magistrate acting in the conduct of the magistrate's official duties. F, notice of the provisions of the section shall be posted conspicuously along the boundary of Capitol Square and the surrounding area and at the public entrance of each location listed in subsection B. and no person shall be convicted of an offense under subsection B if such notice is not posted at such public entrance, unless such person had actual notice of the prohibitions in subsection B. And then G is in a red box. The provisions of this section shall not apply to any member of the General Assembly who leaves a handgun in an unattended motor vehicle pursuant to numbers, when such vehicle is parked in any parking structure reserved for members of the General Assembly under numbers. You see, this is a very interesting way to, like, rephrase it, because why would they leave the handgun in their vehicle? Wait, when I take my gun out with me, I don't want to leave it in my vehicle, even if it's hidden. If my vehicle gets broken into, like, I would be responsible, right? Any public official, like a mayor, that openly disparages any racial group should be removed from office for not representing their constituents. I agree. But that hasn't happened to any of them yet. Rules for thee, but not for me, as provision. Which is just like, when you think about the reason the Second Amendment was set up, it was to make sure that a government didn't become tyrannical. And it seems like a complete woo-woo clown world provision to be like, well, yes, the government can carry their firearms, but you can't. It's still a 10-year federal felony to carry into a federal building, except for in New Hampshire, woo! I think there was another one. Because I remember people protesting with open carry in a state house in some other state that wasn't New Hampshire, and everyone on the left was freaking out about how they should all be arrested and thrown in jail for bringing firearms into a federal building. But that state had a provision where it wasn't illegal to bring firearms into the building. I just don't remember what protest it was. The Dems in Virginia are moving as fast as VTuber drama, and everything that's happening in Virginia is going to be coming to your state if you do not get the spineless do-nothing Republicans out of their seat and replaced with people who will do something. Like, voting for the Democrats is going to hasten this. It's like, I just don't understand. I just don't understand, man. You live in Maryland and you already fear that? Please don't remind you. You gotta get involved locally in your politics. Find, like, if you have no idea how to get involved locally, find, like, a Facebook group of people in your area. Ask if there's, like, local meetings for, you know, local political stuff. Find, like, a conservative town meeting. I imagine it can't be that difficult. Even if there isn't one in your town, see about the towns adjacent to you, right? What the fuck is going on with the CIA guy? Apparently he was supposed to do, like, something with Sneeko, but then he was like, "Hi Sneeko, apologies for the late text. I regret to inform you that we just received this message from CAA. We're unaware as to what those legal reasons are. However, we wanted to let you know. Hi Ben, at this time, John will be unable to participate in tomorrow's live stream due to legal reasons." So first of all, did he mistype CIA? Or is he being serious about the CAA? Why is an ex-CIA agent being represented by an anti-white, like, talent agency? What's going on with that? It's the same guy that canceled on Hassan. Yeah, this is the guy that canceled on Hassan because of Pippa. It's like, what's going on with this guy? Powerful. The Canadian Auto Association? No, it's, I never remember what CAA stands for, but it's a talent management agency in California, and it has a lot of content creators under its banner as well. Like Miss Rachel, I've talked about being under CAA a bunch of times. I think John is finding out that a lot of the people he's going to be talking with are retarded, and he's pulling out of a lot of the meetings with random excuses. Good for him. He doesn't need to speak with Hassan or Sneeko. I mean, fair, but I'm more interested in why they said CAA, the talent agency in California. That is heavy into the DEI bridge nonsense. That's what I want to know, buddy boy. That's my confusion. I saw this, and it's titled, "This Made Me Feel Insane," and I watched it, and my reaction was basically, I'm not high enough for this, man.
At first glance, this seems really, really nice. It's antibacterial, 50% less scrubbing.
That's
than
nice.
How much I was doing before.
I like orange.
Seems nice, but then here, Dawn Ultra removes grease on contact. Does
Look at
that mean
that,
no scrubbing at all? But then I gotta get that when I could get Dawn Platinum. This helps. Well, what does that mean? Helps remove?
Yeah, why is help so small?
Up to 99% of grease and food residue? How much does it help?
Does it help more than removing grease on contact?
Dawn Platinum when I could get, might I say, for the exact same price, Dawn Platinum Plus Power Suds.
Oh.
Plus, this says 2 times the suds versus Dawn Platinum on greasy soil. So they're saying their own product is twice as good as their other product right next to it on the shelf.
Well, like, that doesn't make any sense, chat. Why would they be out competing their own fucking products at the same price point? I don't get it!
On greasy soil. Whatever that is. So is this one here just to make this one look better? And this one is a bleach alternative. What does that mean? And this one, Dawn Heavy Duty Power Wash Dish Spray. Is that a side grade from Platinum or Platinum Plus? Can I see a hierarchy chart here? Plus
I think I
there's
need a
Platinum
hierarchy chart, man.
Foam. This has 5 times more grease absorption. What's better, grease absorption or just removing the grease on contact? What do I want? This Platinum Plus is free and
What
clear.
do I get?
Even Cascade has Platinum Plus. The store version has Ultimate Plus. Finish has Power or Quantum or Ultimate, our best clean.
It's a shitload of oil
Stupid to buy
soaked
anything
ducks.
but their best clean, right?
That's
It's
true.
insulting to keep these on the shelves at that point.
What? Like, the whole time I just like think of the fucking shop, a pop opera, and just paralyzed by choice, you know? This is too many! Why are there so many? How did they do this? Are they all just the same formula with different packaging and different scents? But then what's even the point? The illusion of choice? But why? Why put this torture on average people?